Hey guys, welcome back. So this is the USTING tutorial. Now this tutorial is going to assume two things: that you've watched all the previous tutorials for VCCV English, and that you have at least a basic understanding of how to use UTAU. So if you've never used UTAU before, I'm going to leave a link in the description to see this tutorial. Now this is a little bit out of date, 2012, but all the information in it on how to install and just sort of basic things about UTAU is still relevant. So go ahead and click that if you've never used UTAU before. Now, the only other thing I'll be using is a flag editor plugin, which I definitely suggest you get. You're going to be needing it for consonant velocity edits, and it's just really useful to have. So I'll leave a link for that too. It'll bring you to this page. You just have to scroll down to the fourth one, this one right here. Click this to download it. And to install, you just need to go to your UTAU folder where the plugins are listed. Make a folder called Add Flag Edit and put all the files from that download in here. And I'll show you how to use that later in the tutorial. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about how the configurations work in UTAU, and then I'm going to show you the method I use to make USTs. So the first thing we're looking at here is a section of CZ saying CC's keys. So if we open up the bank here, that recording sounds like this.
CC's keys.
And I've recreated it here in UTAU, and it sounds like this.
CC's keys.
So I'm just going to go through and show you how that auto is working to recreate that sound. So we've recorded each of the notes on fourth notes to a BPM of 120. And here we have a BPM of 120, and each note is a fourth note. So we're starting off pretty simple. The consonant velocity is all correct already, and we just need to realign everything. So I'm just going to go ahead here and create 4 new notes and show you how I did this. So you want to start off by entering the CV notes. So first one is a dash CV. So if you press Ctrl G on your keyboard, it will bring up the auto. We have a space and a starting CV here. So if you remember from the O-tone tutorial, this red line here is the preutterance, and it's the start of a note. So this line corresponds to this spot right here in the UST. All the space before it is out here. So that's where the consonant is. All of this right here is vowel right now. So next you want to go in and put in the second CV, which is just C. And for now this sounds like this.
C.
Now this second CV is picking up right here at the start of the consonant. So the consonant is right here. What we want to do with the VC we're going to put in there is put the end of this vowel back into it. So the first thing we want to do is change our quantize to 64th note, so we have better control over how small we make the note lengths. We want to pick up the end of this CV and pull it back to where this note starts. So we're pulling it back to right at this point. And we want to type in the connecting VC, so E space S. And if we take a look at this auto, we'll see that the note starts right at the start of the consonant. So the consonant on this starts right where the consonant on this starts back here. So what we're going to want to do is highlight this and press P2, P3 to crossfade them. So now the vowel here is crossfading in from this point, which you can see right here. And the consonant here is crossfading to this point and crossfading out of this one up until this point. So it'll sound like this.
C.
So you just want to add the next one, which is a key and a VC that we put right before another consonant, which is just a plain old ES, no dash, no space. We take a look at this. The preutterance is starting right here, most of the way into the consonant. And this is just another starter CV, so we have a blank space here that consonant's going to fade from. And we have this. If we do another crossfade,
C's key.
then we just need to add the last consonant, so is, with a dash at the end of it. Now the way these are set up, we use these for a couple different things in UTAU. I've made it so the preutterance starts at the end of the vowel, which isn't quite where we want it here. You want to actually pick this up and pull it a little ways in. So what you can do here is hold Control on your keyboard and grab this note and pull it back. And that's a really easy way to change that note length. So if we grab this again, crossfade.
skis.
So that's the basic idea behind how you link just about any sounds together in a bank like this. There's just a few more autos I want to go over before we start on making a real UST. So here I've recreated CZ singing one of the samples town to town, and it sounds like this.
Town to town.
And I've recreated it here.
Town to town.
So what's different in this one is that we need to link an N to a T. So in this auto, we have the sound starting at the beginning of an N, and we have the preutterance right at the end of the N. So we want to link this to a VC that starts at the beginning of an N. So we can use an ending VC where the preutterance is right at the start of this N here. And together they sound like this.
Sound.
And use the same idea when marking out where these go. So if we reset the envelopes here, you just want to pull this CV back to where the start of this T is, and put in your N space T, and then pull this back again to where the start of the N is, and put in your 8N dash ending VC. Crossfade it again, and
Town to town.
so that's pretty easy. And the last samples we have here are the starting and ending consonant combinations. So here I've just made CZ say bricks as an example.
Bricks.
So what we do is we start out with the br recording, which is taken from bre, where the preutterance is right after the B, so it's starting at the R, and an underscore ri, where the recording is starting right on that same R, and the preutterance is at the start of the I. So when you play them separately, the br just sounds like this. It's very subtle. You basically just hear the B. And the ri.
Ri.
So together.
Ri.
And the ending consonant here is just an ending VC, where the preutterance is at the end of the vowel.
Big.
And the ks is an ending consonant combination, where the sample picks up where that last one left off and continues on with the ks. So the ks sounds like
X.
and together they sound like this.
X.
So when recreating this, you want to start out with the underscore CV first. So underscore ri. You want to pull back this rest from the start of the note, and that's where you want to put the starting consonant combination, so dash BR. And over at the end here, you want to put the ks first, so KS dash. Pull this in and put your ending VC, so ick. Crossfade that and
Bricks.
bricks. So when working with actual USTs, there's a pretty easy method you can follow that will get the timing right pretty much the first time. With CVVC, there was a lot of sort of guess and check work, and you had to go back and fix things. With this new method, you get it right pretty much the first time. And then you can spend a whole bunch of time tuning and just sort of playing with the rest of it. So I'm just going to go through and show you the steps I take to put USTs together. Now, for me, working off of a blank MIDI is probably the easiest way to do this. So here I just have a blank UST that Zudui made. It's for Define Me, which is Kenji-B's song, No Straight Answer. So I'm going to link that in the description. So the first thing you want to do when working with a UST is to enter all of your CVs first. Now, if you're not very familiar with the phonetic system, you can go back and watch the pronunciation tutorial, and I'm also going to put some files in with the Reckless download that'll help you see what sounds you have to work with. But for the most part, it's just practice, and eventually you'll just start thinking with these phonetics and it won't be a problem. I wish we did have a dictionary, but for now we don't, so you have to type in the phonetics directly. So the first section we have here, the lyrics are "So there it goes again." So you just want to start typing them in. So there, so there, rit, so there it, go, goes again. And again, a lot of this is just practice. You're going to figure out what phonetics you want where pretty quickly. You can just play around with them and get it to sound like what you want. So if we listen to it right now.
So there it goes again.
So pretty good. What we need to do next is fix the consonant velocity. Now, a lot of people don't realize how important consonant velocity is. It's super important when working with English. And a really easy way to work with it is with the plugin that I had you download earlier. So if you go ahead and open this up under Tools, Plugins, Flag Editor, if you highlight the notes you want to fix, they'll come up here in this window. You want to click on velocity here, vel. Now, the UST we're working with is set to 120, which is the same time we recorded at. So with the default being 120 BPM on quarter notes, the default consonant velocity for quarter notes remains at 100, so that's the same. With notes that are smaller than a quarter note, say eighth notes or 16th notes, you want to increase the consonant velocity to about 150. So you just go ahead and click up a little bit higher. So this one and this one here. And for notes that are bigger than fourth notes, half notes and whole notes, you want to make the consonant velocity a little bit slower. So this note here isn't quite a whole note, so we're only going to decrease it a little bit. And hit OK. And you'll see that these change a little bit, so...
So there it goes again.
Can't really hear the difference yet, but that's super important to do right after you enter the CVs. So now that when you enter the VCs, you'll have the right pre-utterance link to be working off of. So now we want to enter the VCs. Just going to zoom in. And remember, you want to be on 64th note quantize. You can also go to 48th or none, but be very careful when you click none because the timing for the whole UST can sort of glitch and you don't want that. So I mainly stick to 64th. So you just want to pick this up like we did before. So there. Air. So for this one, you want an ending VC instead of a blending because of the stress on the air. It's not they writ, it's there it. So if the ending VC is being stressed, it's usually going to be an ending VC with a dash at the end of it. So there it. So now you have a choice here. You can either say so there it goes, or you can say so there it goes. If you're going to go with the so there it goes with a pronounced T, you just need to put in an ending VC without a dash. Goza. So now here's another blending VC. Goes again. Again. And for the last VC. And remember, you want to pull these in a little bit. If you hold control, it will do that for you. So the next thing you want to do is fix the consonant velocity on the VCs. Now, in general, you want the ending VC to have the same consonant velocity as the beginning CV it's coming from. So this, it, again, and N will all be the same. Now, this is something really important that you can't get the distinction between in VCV. So go ahead and click OK. So next you want to crossfade these, and you always want to use P2, P3. If you use P2, P4, everything will mess up. This list has been designed to use P2, P3 only. So let's take a listen to that now.
So there it goes again.
So the next thing I recommend doing is flattening the pitch with mod 0. You can hear a lot of discrepancies in the pitch coming from the VCs. And to fix that, you just need to set mod to 0. So highlight the notes and click on region properties. Here where it says modulation, just type in 0.
So there it goes again.
And that fixed all the errors we were hearing before. So the next thing you want to do is press ACPT. So normally, if we look at the note properties, the preutterance and the overlap are set to the default of your OTO. Now, with all the changes we've made in note links and such, obviously there isn't going to be the full 300 milliseconds of preutterance here. It's being cut off a little bit. Now, what ACPT does is it sets what the auto settings have changed to on that note specifically. So if you press it and then look here on this note again, we'll see that these have changed a little bit, and we see that the STP has changed. Now, I'm not sure how entirely STP is calculated, but I do know that this means a little tiny bit of the beginning of the note has been cut off, and that's perfectly okay. So what you want to do next is have UTAU render this one more time with the new settings.
So there it goes again.
It's not going to sound any different, but what you can do now is have UTAU optimize the crossfades for you. Now this will realign the waveforms and get a clearer sound for you. So go ahead and press OPT right here and click yes and play it one more time.
So there it goes again.
Perfectly smooth. Now, when using ACPT and OPT, you need to be really careful that there aren't any errors. If your configurations are a little bit off, if the note length is off, or if the consonant velocity is off, you're going to get some really weird errors. So just keep in mind that that can happen and look for that. So let's say you don't like the hard T before the go. You can just take this and make it an ending consonant. You're then going to want to reset the auto and the region properties once again. So clear the overlap in the pre-utterance and click on STP and just hit spacebar to clear that. Hit OK and reset all of that.
So there it goes again. So there it goes again.
Okay, so hopefully this is enough information to get you started. I will be including the rest of this UST as a download so you can pick that up and take a look at it and see what I've done with the rest of it. Just a couple things you want to keep in mind. If the tempo of the UST you're working with is higher than 120, you're going to want to make the base consonant velocity for the fourth notes a little bit higher. And if the tempo is slower than 120, you're going to want to make the base consonant velocity a little bit slower. So now that this rec list is released, I really want to start making more tutorials for you guys. So if you can all click through to the next video, I'm going to talk about what my plans for the future are and how you can help me make more tutorials for you. So thank you for sticking through to the end of this one, and I'll see you in the next video.